I think the most exciting thing about the new syllabus is really the suggested issues and debates at the end of each section. So that is really good because after each topic, they have sort of a framework of issues and debates to look at, which we never had before. Another thing is the inclusion of the key studies. The key studies, I think, now are quite important because we know which particular studies to zero on instead of looking at all the studies, because we know like the specialist options do have a lot of content. And so for the A-level syllabus, that inclusion of a key study is key because we can be able to know which study to pay more attention to. And lastly, I think is to see the Shachter and Singer and Levlani study, which was quite difficult for students, when very long and windy, they're now gone. So I think students will be quite excited about that. So key ideas we should be looking out for is we need to be worried about the key research methodologies that have been included in the syllabus, because we have some that have been added. So it's really developing a deeper understanding of those research methodologies, also a deep understanding of the core studies and also the studies in the specialist options. So the AS and the core studies, and also having simplified illustrations, developing those simplified illustrations, and also use books that tend to chunk information for students, because some of them, it gives too much information that students are not able to follow. So using books that really chunk that for students would be relevant and a key idea to look out for. And also making sure that students refer to psychological evidence and examples when they are giving their responses. And so I think that is one thing we need to make sure that we are training the students to make sure that they are doing that on a repeated level for excellence in their exams. Yeah. One of the things I want to tell, the top tip is know your content, because that way you're able to summarize the studies for your students. You're able to understand exactly what is going on in those studies. You're able to know why is a study in social, why is it in cognitive, why is it in learning, and so on. So first of all, know your content as a teacher. And I know with this syllabus, we have both older and newer teachers. And so since we have new course studies that have come up, I think it's good to familiarize ourselves. The other thing is, as much as possible, once we know our content, is to be able to use differentiated activities, because the content is quite large sometimes. And so it's good to differentiate for the different needy students, and then also be able to apply this particular content to real life examples. So once students are able to identify their own lives to the core studies that are being used and also the specialist options, I think they'll have a better understanding of the topics. Okay, so we still have the 4 papers, paper 1, 2, 3, and 4. Paper 1 and 2 are pretty much just like the older versions that we had before. The only change that I've seen in paper 2, based on the specimen papers, is that we will have specific design studies rather than general questions that ask about how to design a study. Then in paper 3, we will have 8 questions that students need to answer based on their specialist option. That has changed because they've tried to chunk into little bits the questions so that they can cover as much as possible, because usually it was based on just 2 topics, and now students may have at least 4 topics within their specialist option to answer. For paper 4, I would say we have 2 sections, but the 12-mark question is gone. And so we no longer have the 12-mark question, but they have 2 sections to look at, where you have 4 questions in section A, and then you answer a design question in section B. But overall, it's still 60 marks per paper, just a little bit of specifics. I think now they're more specific, and that really is more student-friendly.